you can see that sometimes you gotta really just make sure the measurement is good. Okay, now if you look here, you can see that diff cup is sitting completely level. If you look here, that diff cup there is staying completely level. Now, you're almost done. You're pretty close. You want to double check though your pinion, always from your rear diff case, just to make sure it spins freely. Make sure nothing binds up. You're good, you're solid, good to go. Now, before you seal this back up, it's a good idea to take some, you can either use a marine grease or, you know, just like a heavy duty grease, anything like, usually I'll use like a heavy duty grease or like green grease they call it, or even like marine grease, just to put around the gears. Okay, now what you're going to do is just kind of spin it, and whatever is dry, just put a little bit of grease on there. You don't have to put a ton, just a little bit. A little bit goes a long, long way, especially when it's inside a housing. So you're going to spin the pinion again. You're going to go over to here. And if you have a Q-tip, actually, guys, you can also do a Q-tip. But the problem is, I will say with Q-tips, they leave a material on the inside from like the hairness of the Q-tip. So you really don't. You could spin the pinion again. Again, you can see where the gear is completely dry, so we don't want that. Looks like I'm gonna have to get some more grease here, guys. I helped my buddy last with his differential as well, so I used a lot of my green grease. So I definitely have to get some more. But you can see, you don't want any of these teeth to be bare. You don't have to overload it with grease. It doesn't have to be, you know, saturated, but it's a good idea just to cover up. So you're gonna go ahead and spin that. There's one little piece there that was never hit. See if I got a little bit of enough. There we go. Just enough. Man, I got lucky, guys. Look at that. Because normally, I would not be that lucky. And it would completely empty before I can finish. So, you're just going to go ahead and spin it freely like this. Just kind of basically circle that grease all around that diff case and everything. You can see if you look at it now, it almost looks like the grease is almost in a perfect circle almost around that gear. So sometimes you get a little bit of tiny grease that goes on the diff casing on the outside there. So just take your microfiber, kind of clean it off, just so that way when you put the screws in, it doesn't shoot out and it doesn't make a whole mess all over the place. So we got all that together. Then you're going to come to your Team Hoonage Build Aluminum top of your case here. You're going to go ahead and put that in there. It's going to make a nice little clip there. Not all of them do clips, some don't. But before we put all these screws in, you're going to inspect it. You're going to make sure that that diff cover, or that U-piece for the actual cup itself, is level in there. It's not binding. Same thing for this side. You can see that the full circle is right against the case and nothing's binding. So we're good there. We're going to take our screws. Okay. We're going to come back to our same size Allen head that we were using. We're going to tighten it forward. Keep in mind, this is going to be another time, you guys, where you tighten a little bit snug on one side, a little bit snug on the other side, and then you're going to come and tighten them down fully, because you want to make sure that they don't basically back themselves out, or you have a chance of stripping them. So we just tighten that fully down. One turn, two turns, and then we know that's fully tight. That's perfectly even. Let's double check just to make sure the pinion didn't shift on us. So we can see that pinion spins the rear diff freely. There's no binding, there's no grinding. So we're all set on that. We come to the other side just to make sure. That's all set. And And then you're just going to put your rear diff fluid to the side, being that we don't need it anymore. Come over to here. You're going to basically double check yourself just to make sure you have all the screws and everything in there, that you didn't misplace anything. So you're good there. Now, before you go and put that rear diff casing in, because it's very easy to forget, don't forget your main coupler to your axle that we previously took off. And I run my couplers with a little bit of grease, but the prior owner, whoever had these, ran it way too much. There's way too much grease on this, to the point to where it'll get all over the chassis and everything. Now I know actually why the rear diff was covered in black grease, because of this. So you're gonna go actually and take this coupler now, and you're gonna just basically turn that pinion gear. You're gonna take where the hole is lined up on your coupler, line it up there, and you're gonna come over to your pin that I was telling you guys about. Do not lose. So we're gonna come over to the pin of the coupler, slide that right through there. Just kind of give it a little bit of a small push just to make sure it's in there. Then you're going to take your flathead screwdriver and you're going to kind of walk it over a little bit, right where that clip goes. And then once you do, you're going to basically bend it over, so that way it goes right over the top of that clip. This can kind of be a pain because there's a lot of tension on this spring here. So get yourself a screwdriver that you don't really care about, because sometimes you will bend your screwdriver. So just make sure it's walked all around. You'll hear that snap. Once you hear that snap, that means you fully got your coupler on. Your spring is actually holding the pin in. So you're all good there. Everything's all set. So then you're just ready for putting your boot back on here. Some people run boots, some people don't. I've just always ran them, and it's here, so I might as well. So you're just going to kind of put one side on, and then just kind of swivel it back and forth, left to right again. And you're just going to kind of push it. Sometimes they don't go on that easy, but I got lucky on that one. And there you go. Your axle is now back onto your pinion. So being that we still have everything apart though, let's double check just to make sure. So you can see that both of your drive cups are spinning. You have no problems. Now, it's just ready for reassembly. So, as soon as you do your reassembly, that's your rear diff, guys. That's your rear differential casing upgrading. That's your going through doing your fluid. How to put fluid in, how to take out all the bubbles correctly, and everything else. If you guys enjoyed this video, would like to see more, definitely hit that like button, subscribe button for Brat Bash Racing Gas, and hopefully you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you again. Peace.